Hey, pilot, welcome back to Ready for Pushback. I'm Nick Fialka. Today's conversation is with my good friend, Claudia Zapata-Cardone, who is the president of the Latino Professionals Association. And if you don't know that the name is now Latino Professionals Association, don't worry, because neither did I, and you'll hear it in the interview. I interviewed Claudia at the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals Expo, the OBAP convention out in Tacoma, Washington. So when I go to these, I typically don't bring my entire video set up because it's a big thing to try to get all this stuff set up and computers and cameras and timing and all this stuff. So I usually just don't bring it. So no video today if you're watching on YouTube, but it's a great conversation. The convention is coming up. We talk all about it. Second to last convention and the last East Coast convention, right? So if you're on the East Coast, you want to get to Orlando, it's a couple weeks away, all right? Just a couple weeks. So sit back, relax. Let's get ready for Pushback.
It all started as a spark. Maybe it was the sound of jets racing across the sky. Or the feeling of your heart racing as you watch a crop duster flying low and slow. Even then, you knew you were meant to fly. For pilots, it's more than just a job. It's a calling. The early mornings, the long hours, the relentless training. You didn't do it for the money. You did it for that moment. That moment when the wheels lift off and the earth falls away beneath you. But flying is just the beginning. The journey to your dream job takes more than just skill in the sky. It takes strategy on the ground and a lifetime of learning.
Most pilots don't understand what career opportunities are available in the world of aviation. Learn how to go from good to great, from flight school to regional to major, and from hopeful to hired. Whether you're sharpening your skills, building your resume, or preparing for that big interview, this is where pilots come to level up. Let's get ready for Pushback. Here's your host and my dad, Nick Fialka.
All right, Claudia is back with me again, and we are talking all things Latino pilots. Hola, ¿cómo está?
Muy bien, ¿y usted cómo está?
That's all I got. Sorry. Well, you are the president of Latino Pilots Association, and it's been a year since we've been chatting to each other.
I mean, this is becoming a yearly thing for us.
Yeah, every year at OBAP, we sit down and record and talk about the upcoming conference. So talk to me, what's coming up this year?
Well, first of all, we changed our name from the Latino Pilots Association to Latino Professionals in Aerospace. That happened after the expo last year.
Okay.
Reason being is because we needed to be a little bit more inclusive of other aerospace industries and fields and career fields.
Agreed.
And that was one of the biggest things that it was an obstacle that some members told us that they wish they could be represented more in different, like ATC, maintenance, dispatchers. You know, there's so many careers in the aerospace industry that are not just exclusively pilots, although I always say this, I think being a pilot is the best job in the world, but some people don't agree with me.
Yeah. Well, because they're dumb. But also here's an interesting thought. I never see anybody recruiting to work in corporate finance. I don't see anybody I don't see American or Delta or United or pick your company out looking for somebody to run some spreadsheets or to work in reservations. That doesn't seem to be in the stratosphere of kind of the Affinity Group Expo.
Right.
Interesting.
It is really interesting. However, we're there to support them in any way, shape, and form. So we've always talked about mentorship and sponsorship. Mentorship is, hey, I'm giving you advice on how to do something. Don't make the same mistakes I made. But sponsorship is a little bit different. It's where we say the person's name when no one else will. We stick up for them. And that's what we're hoping to do by changing our name to Latino Professionals in Aerospace, is to get them to that sponsorship of, hey, I know a guy in corporate finance that would love to go into and work at Delta, American, or United. So we're hoping to pave that way, that path forward to those different career fields that are in aerospace. We just finished our ALAS camp, and ALAS is wings in Spanish, but it also stands for the Academy for Latinos in Aerospace Science, and we did it in Denver. It was a week-long camp, 5 days, and our home base was United Airlines TK. And the great thing about that was the first day we went to the airport, and we got a behind-the-scenes tour of Denver Airport and the United Airlines operations. And it really opened the kids' eyes to the different career fields. It's not just being a pilot, ramp. And we had the VP of Denver for United come in and talk to them about, what her job entails. And they started realizing it takes so much more to obviously run an airline. Second day, you're going to love this. We took them on glider. We gave them glider lessons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They each got basically like a 40-minute glider lesson.
Wow.
And then the third day, we were at the training center, and we had people from, of all things, corporate real estate that came in and spoke to us for an hour about what corporate real estate entails at an airline. And that's what I'm talking about, the different lucrative career fields that are in aerospace that I never in a million years thought about corporate real estate. I was like, they're going to talk to us about the new training, the land that they purchased right off of Denver. And no, they were talking about how they secure gate space, how they're involved with network planning, because of course network planning says, we want to go here, and now corporate real estate, they have to determine all right, what gates, where, how is this going to happen? The leases, all of that stuff it falls under corporate real estate. And then we had government affairs come in and talk to them. And there's a whole, and I knew this, but when you hear them talk about it, you're blown away about the kind of jobs that they do, the skills that they have to do this job. And then again, how much, money, the potential. And of course, we always talk about money and careers and lucrative career fields. And I always talk about that because it's a way of us building generational wealth to pass down. Because that's how we lift ourselves out of,
modest means.
Modest means, right. How we can lift ourselves from modest means to, upper middle class. And I think that's just part of the American dream.
Oh, for sure. I also think the one thing you get in the economy of aviation is opportunity, because maybe you're interested in government affairs, maybe you're not. Maybe you're interested in finance, maybe you're not. Maybe you're interested in operations. And once you get involved in one of those things, you are in this big pot. And when you're in that big pot, you have an opportunity to go experience other things. And maybe you start off in reservations, and that's the thing.
That's how I started.
See?
I started in reservations at a company, and I'm sure you remember AirTran Airways.
I got my AirTran frequent flyer card still. Yeah.
Out of Orlando, 1995. That's how I got into the aviation industry.
And
my dad worked for Continental, but that was my foot in the door.
Yeah.
I started off as a res agent, and then I became a crew scheduler.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
See, there's so many jobs.
That was opportunity. And you want to know how, this is the craziest story. I ended up becoming a crew scheduler because they were redoing the door that everyone walked through. They were redoing the door that day, so we had to go through the side door. I'd never gone through the side door, and I just ended up in this area, and I started asking questions like, what are you doing? And I'm like, we're scheduling crews. I'm like, why? How does that work? And they told me, and sure enough, I asked enough questions. They're like, well, we have an opening pretty soon.
Oh.
And I went home that night, and I found out that it came with $1 raise.
What's up?
I know. That was huge back in 1995. That was a huge deal for me. I went home that night, and I worked a 3 to midnight shift. Went home, got my typewriter out.
Oh, yeah. What's up, typewriter? A typewriter, for you kids that don't know, it's before we had Wii's.
Yes, absolutely. And I typed up a resume, and the very next day I took my resume in and said, here's my resume. Please keep me in mind. And I basically got hired into crew scheduling.
I freaking love it. And here, Boom, boom, boom. I also would like to say you are a captain in a major airline.
And I'm also a line check pilot.
And you are also a line check pilot. And you are the president of this massive organization. And now you give back to this community to encourage those people to just go and don't be afraid to do it.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the time, especially for women and other minoritized groups, we have imposter syndrome.
I'm 6'4" white guy.
You see, but that's the thing. No one ever talks about it. Like, women talk about it a lot, and it's always like, oh, it's a woman's thing. But it's everybody.
It is.
Everybody has that
I have
imposter
very low self-esteem.
I would never guess that. But, we self-select out so many times. We don't take you're going to be mad at me. So there was an opening for quality line control check pilots, QCLs. I don't know what they call them at Delta.
I don't either. Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
And I self-selected out because I convinced myself that, I've only been doing this for, 2 years.
Oh.
And I don't feel like I know as much as the next person does. And because, I may get to do 1 or 2 every other month. I always have to spend about 6 hours studying before I do any kind of IOE.
Yeah.
And I self-selected out. And the line training manager was so angry at me. He texted me and was pretty much like, why didn't you apply? And I told him all my reasons. And he was just mad.
Yeah, because you were chosen without you knowing. My dear buddy Al, he's a line check guy, but he's also like in the block of like the senior most like leaders of that you have your line check people, but then you have the people that lead those line check people.
That's what the QCLs, yeah.
He didn't know he wanted to do the thing, but they came to him and said like this, it was a same as you, like short time as a line check pilot. And then, hey, we have a leadership job for you. Like, well, I'm not ready. It's like, well, you're ready. And here it is. Like, yes.
And I guess, and I felt bad because, as you know, my spouse is also a pilot for United Airlines. And he went to my husband and said, why wasn't your wife's application in? And he's like, oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
He said, oh, boy, here we go. And I talked to him about it. And I said, I just don't think I'm ready. And he's like, I don't know anyone who is 100% always ready. I don't know anyone that checks all the boxes. But, if you want to do this, you should do it. And I hemmed and hawed. I'm like, no, I think I need a little bit more experience to be taken seriously. And come to find out that, I should have applied.
Really?
But, that's a lesson learned. And I think for so many people, we self-select out just out of fear. And I kind of look back now that I'm telling that story of how brazen I was to just go in and say, hey, what do you guys do here? What's all this? And what are you talking about? FAR, whatever, 121 FAR is an 8-hour minimum rest of duty. It came with $1 raise, and I reached down deep and opened up that can of woman, and I was like, I'm going to get this job. I wish I could capture that, is it audacity or self-confidence that I had back then that I just didn't even think twice about it.
Audacity. We're going to do a solo show about audacity.
Yeah, audacity sometimes has such a bad connotation, but maybe tenacity. I was just so tenacious in that I knew I was gonna. I just knew I was gonna get the job, and I should probably just remember that.
Yeah. And
remember that tenacity I have, and go ahead and apply for these positions without fear. And what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no, right?
Yeah.
I think it's always that fear of rejection, isn't it?
It is. And so this reminds me, I went to the American Airlines headquarters a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And I sat down with their vice president of operations of flight ops. And he was a former Army helicopter pilot and kind of worked his way up. And he said, I wasn't afraid, I was curious. And that curiosity is like the thing that just always led me to the next thing, even though I don't feel like I should have been there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I should stop being afraid and be more curious.
It was so interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. He's such a cool dude. Listen, we got so many cool people. Like, I wish there was a video camera on us right now because a United pilot just walked past and gave you like a a funny little face as you were trying to be very serious about this. But it's the community that we are. There's thousands of people around us. Everybody's watching you, wanting to, like so excited to.
And you.
Oh man, I'm just leading. I'm just at the end of the leash. Like that's. But I do want to talk about this is a good 2-part conversation, because the first part is like about just being bold and not self-selecting out and making sure that you can, because that's what this show is all about. It's like telling people that they can and they should, and so do it. And I love that about you, like bringing that. The next part is about this expo, because it's coming up, and it is the 4th one.
It's our third.
Third.
Yes.
Man.
It is our 3rd annual Latin Aerospace Industry Expo, September 18th and 19th.
Okay. It's coming up.
It's coming up. So if
in
you hear this,
Orlando.
In Orlando again, yep. It is in Orlando and at the Hilton Signia.
Okay.
Beautiful resort. You were there last year.
Yeah, and then I came back and I took my family because they have the lazy river at the Signia.
Yes, it's wonderful.
They have an airline rate, heads up.
The day after, I just sat in that lazy river for about 3 hours, just floating. Because as you know, it's a lot of work to put an expo on.
It is. Oh my God, yes.
But we're going to have the same, we're here at the OBAP convention, a lot of the same Delta, United, American, FedEx, Hawaiian,
UPS,
Alaska,
Hawaiian.
UPS, right. A lot of the big names are coming. And,
and a lot of the small names too, which I think is the most interesting.
Right. We have Frontier, GoJet, Republic,
FlexJet, NetJet,
NetJets. Yeah,
135 operators.
Absolutely. And then the flight schools for those that don't even know where to get started. And we're saying, come to the expo and start talking to these flight schools and trying to, again, that mentorship piece. Like, this is what you want to look for in a good flight school. Yeah. This is what you should be looking for. You may need the flexibility of a Part 61.
Come closer to the mic.
Oh, come closer to the mic.
Yes.
Sorry. A Part 61 flight school, that may be what you need for the flexibility if you're working full time. So,
yeah.
There's going to be a lot of exhibitors, and then there's going to be some on-site meet and greets. And as always, American Airlines is going to be doing their on-site interviews. I'm sure you've heard through the grapevine, rumor has it that a big airline is going to be hiring 2,500 pilots next year. And
if you follow me on LinkedIn, you might have gotten a heads up about that.
Right. And the thing is, LPA is the next to last expo.
That's right.
That you have a chance to make a great impression with one of those recruiters during your meet and greet that may lead to an opportunity for you to interview with these airlines next year. That's
right. So the way it works, if I probably talk about it too much, but I'll say it again, because the way a meet and greet works is your first touch point with this company that you are really desiring. Maybe your resume is there and ready to go, and you're a good candidate. Maybe your resume is on its way.
Right.
And that's like, those are good touch points to hit. Like, I think those are very important to think about. But the airlines may or may not do interviews at the convention. Some will, some won't. But what they will do is take those resumes back and rack and stack them and come up with a plan. Like, these people, first off, spent the time and the money and the effort to fly their tails out to Orlando and sit down with us and tell us why they love us and why they're a good fit. And so let's return the favor and invite them out to Denver and have a conversation and see if they're ready for an interview. And so they use that. They use those resumes of people that have gone through meet and greets as fodder to get them started for the next season. So be ready, and like, that's
Absolutely.
A great way too.
And I always love to plug Spitfire Elite as always, because every time we get someone that says, when they contact me and say, hey, I have an interview with United or Delta or American, my first question is, how are you preparing? And the next statement I make is, if you want to succeed, Spitfire Elite is the way to go. And 1,000%, I will always recommend Spitfire Elite, because you all have a way of preparing candidates that make them shine.
It's nice thank you. First off, we love this. We love compliments. We love.
Yeah. Feed the ego.
Feed the ego. But I mean, when you look around, there are places on the floor where there are huge amounts of people, and usually those are the big airlines and the Spitfire booth.
Absolutely. You happened to come and find me. I walked by, and there were so many people I couldn't see you, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll walk by later and try and find Nick, because there's just so many people.
There are,
even right now. There's probably about 50 people surrounding the booth.
Yep, they're like sharks in the water.
Yes,
but it's but it's good. It's a good metaphor for it. I love that. What's interesting to me a lot of times here is the conversations. People like, hey, when do you think I should become a client? I'm like, bro, yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yesterday, the best time was yesterday. The next best time is like right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, there are a lot of people that go to a meet and greet that are not prepared. And they just kind of let it fly.
It almost feels like when people think of meet and greets, they're thinking to themselves, just be yourself. And absolutely, be yourself.
Sure.
But you have to be able to answer a question. And people are always taken by surprise when they ask them, why do you want to fly for X Airlines? And you would think that's an easy answer. It should be, but it's in the way how you answer it.
It is. Also,
you don't want to ramble on.
Of course. Oh my God.
That's the worst.
It is the worst. And you do well. Also, pro tip: Claudia is a person that does meet and greets.
Yes.
Like you sit at the United booth and you go through hundreds of candidates every day.
Yeah, I do. I've done the booths. I've done interviews, and like I said, people that think that they're preparing but haven't prepared properly, they get off track with the story. They leave out crucial details that you need in order to make the story work, or they make up their own stories. And then I hope by now you've done it. I'm sure you've talked about this. Don't ever lie about a story. If you don't have an answer, just say, can I ask another question, or can you ask me another question? Because the moment they start lying and making up a story, we can spot it instantly.
I don't even know if I've talked about that. I mean, you should see her. She's giving me these big eyes. No, I don't think I mean, for me, that is part of,
Don't lie and tell us you're an astronaut, that you flew a rocket to the moon, because, I mean, it's very easy to spot those lies or stories that they've taken from other friends and turn it into your own, because when we ask follow-up questions, they start stumbling over the story.
I have had an astronaut.
Okay, well, that's legit.
It is awesome.
But if I started talking about that.
Yeah. I will spend some time on that.
Yeah.
I will spend, I do want to say this too, since we're talking about interviews.
Mm-hmm.
When you sit down to the pilot that's listening, when you sit down in an interview, if you're sitting across from Claudia and she's asking you questions, the reason she's asking you questions is because she's scoring your answer, right? And there's a range. You're going to either do really great or not really great, and then your scores are tallied up at the end, and then they're
sent to a review committee. So we do that, but we never make the final decision.
Right. For sure.
It always goes to a board, and they review everything, and they review the answers, and they make the final determination.
Right. And you give them, you score them along the way, and then that score is the thing that basically represents them in front of that review board, right?
Right.
And so if you understand that process ahead of time, and you understand how to articulate who you are impactfully, your scores are likely to be higher.
Correct.
But if you don't, and you're just winging it, it's going to suck and you're going to ruin it.
Yeah.
And that's not a place where you want to be.
And I would say it's probably, I know there's people out there that didn't prep and they did fantastic, but it's a very, very small minority that are able to do that.
And why do you want to leave that to chance?
You're talking about what have we said over the years? It's an $8 to $10 million career over the course of your lifetime.
If you're hired in your 30s.
If you're hired in your 20s.
Yeah.
$15, $20 million career.
All day.
Why would you leave it to chance? Why wouldn't you take that leap and spend that extra money to make sure that you are absolutely 100% prepared?
100%. Talk to me about scholarships.
Yes. So we have a lot of scholarships again this year. Scholarships are a fantastic way of breaking down that financial barrier. We all know if you're not in the military and you're having to pay out of pocket for flight training, it can be anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 to get, and even more. And when you throw in a degree on top of that, we're talking $250,000.
How does a person do that, right?
It's getting harder and harder. But we do have scholarships that are available. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Our scholarship window opened in April and then it closed. So we're awarding our scholarships out at the gala this year. And I can't encourage people enough. Again, don't self-select out because you're going like, well, I don't have, I don't know if I can talk about this. I don't know if I don't have the time. Obviously, there's certain scholarships that will have certain requirements. Like you have to have your private in order to get the instrument rating. But if you're within a month of getting your private, you can always write that in your essay. I'm within a month. This is my check ride date and I need this for the instrument. So don't self-select out of scholarships either.
Do you have to write it in Spanish?
No.
Thank God.
No. But you know what? If someone did write it in Spanish, remember, English is the international language of aviation. So they have to have at least a working knowledge of aviation English.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So you've got, yes, I agree, which is clearly obvious, but writing in English is way the hell harder than... especially grammatically correct, right? And as like for me, I talked about my insecurities and like I would be crushed in anxiety of trying to write it properly and get it. If I did write it in Spanish, would that select me out?
No, not at all. Not at all. As long as we could talk, because if you got selected, obviously we would talk to you and we would say, hey, the interview is going to be in English because that's going to be... But
maybe you can grammatically be awesome in Spanish.
Right.
And I get English emails all the time from all around the world. And like, I'll follow along the best I can. And the grammar is, clearly I give people all the grace in the world.
Absolutely.
But scholarship's a big deal. Emailing me is not a big deal.
Right.
Right? Scholarship's a big deal.
And and the big thing with scholarships too is have someone look over look over the essay.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we're just harping on, please don't let ChatGPT write your essay for you.
Holy crap, people.
Don't do that. We can spot it.
And your resume.
And the resume.
Yeah.
Like we can spot it. Don't do that. Don't take shortcuts. Now, if you wanted to use ChatGPT for something, use it to check your grammar and your spelling.
Yep.
But don't use it to write.
Yep.
Your actual essay.
Yeah.
Because it all starts sounding the same.
They start sounding the same and they're not authentic.
No.
And authenticity is everything.
Yes.
And you can tell. I can tell in an interview all day long.
Yes.
And you glaze over and blank out when that person's starting to be like a dummy and not be authentic about it.
Well, and we always joke around the story, do not tell the wheelchair story, right? Do not tell me how the flight was late and you got a wheelchair to help grandma or grandpa off of the plane and that you took them to baggage claim. We've heard that story a million times.
What if I told you the story about how I protected a flight attendant and zip tied a guy to a wheelchair?
Okay, that would be an awesome story. That would leave me on the edge of my seat. I would want to know everything about that story.
I know. I always think about that. Do you know what I did yesterday?
Yes. No, I don't.
I flew out here and I was jump seating and I wore my pilot uniform because they take your big toothpaste if you go through the known crew member, right? So I wore my uniform even though I wasn't working. And I ended up sitting in the back of the plane, thank goodness, and not being on the jump seat. But I sat next to two twin girls that were flying without their parents.
Aww.
and they were 11 years old, and they asked me if I wanted to play bingo with them. And we played bingo for 3.5 hours from Atlanta to Seattle.
That's awesome.
But you know what? Like, I could tell that story at an interview and like be totally authentic. And like, it's way better than the wheelchair story, right?
Absolutely.
Like, but you know, like, I clearly saw that I was in my pilot uniform. I could have been quiet and ignored them the whole time. But like, these sweet girls without their parents, like, gotta just
That's
help
a great
out.
story.
Yeah.
That is an absolutely wonderful story to, tell me about a time you went above and beyond.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
you could have put your earphones in and just ignored them, and you didn't.
Maybe I'll sign up for a United meet and greet.
Yeah, you should. We'd love to have you. We'd love to steal you.
Oh my God. Go back to the bottom of the seniority list. There are so many fun things about the expo that you guys have, which I think is like my heart with the Latino culture is like big, right? So I love it. And it's very fun to me, but you guys bring a lot of culture, and there's so many varieties of culture. You bring it out real dramatically.
Well, then the reason being is because we all talk about representation, and representation matters. And for the Latino community, we really want that connection to our culture. And for us, it's just so important to have that sense of comunidad, community. Yeah, throwing out my Spanish there. But it's so important. And I think last year we had the salsa dancing lessons.
Yes.
And everyone had, then they went into karaoke night. And then the gala.
The gala.
I mean, we go hard on that gala. We really do.
It is like,
we have the Hora Loca, remember when the stilt walkers come in and the dancers come in and they get everybody riled up. I mean, we do. We just, we really want to have when you go to these conferences, sometimes it can get, I don't want to say stale, but it can be the same. And,
there's patternistic things to it. Yeah.
And for us, we really, like I said, we want to connect with our culture. And we had a mariachi band last year that escorted all the people that were at the ceremony for one of the airlines that had a little ceremony for their people that got hired, and we escorted them, with the mariachi band to the gala, and it was amazing. People were crying. I mean, I got really emotional because they were playing one of my dad's favorite songs, and I mean, it's just so emotional, and people, those are the little touches that we want people to see, that we connect with our community, we connect with our culture, because it's just so important to us.
Well, thank you for letting me connect with your culture. This is so fun to me. I cannot wait to see. Give me the dates one more time.
September 18th and 19th. Remember, it may be the last chance to make a really good impression with our recruiters, with all the airlines, for that chance to be part of that. I mean, if we're, one airline's hiring 2,500. Another airline's projected to hire 2,500 as well, correct?
Yep.
And another airline's projected to hire 1,500, 1,000 to 1,500?
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
A lot.
I mean,
more than normal.
We're talking about 6,000 pilot positions next year.
For mainline, which creates a vacuum for everybody else.
Absolutely. Now is it, again, it's your second to last chance to make that fantastic impression.
Yeah, and you should do it. So we'll be at the Hilton Signia. That's in Lake Buena Vista, Florida, which is like kind of that south side of the Disney Springs area. But it is Orlando. So I do want to be specific, like when you're looking at the hotel. The hotel is the Hilton Signia. It's next to the Waldorf Astoria.
Yes.
And it has a lazy river when you look at it on Google Earth. That's it. Claudia, thank you for being part of my life. You're just so fun.
You.
It's so good.
Thank you for supporting us. And that means so much to us, that Spitfire has been with us from day one, and you continue to sponsor and support us. And we just cannot thank you enough.
Muchas gracias, señora. All right, pilots, that's a wrap on this episode, and I know what you're thinking. You need to make yourself a little bit better. So how do you make yourself a little bit better? You tighten up your resume. So here's what I want you to do. Go over to my website, spitfireelite.com/podcast, and you can download my free resume template. It is tight, organized, and it's the perfect pilot resume. It's just something I like to do for the pilot group, and it is free to you. So go over there, spitfireelite.com/podcast, and download your free resume template. While you're over there, look at all the services that we offer. Lots of great interview prep, lots of great application review. Everything you need to be a professional pilot is right there. SpitfireElite.com/podcast. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next episode.